But yeah, ATK are really going to have to perform on this T side again.
Just imagine if ATK in like their first international LAN with top talent, they beat North 2-0, they beat G2 2-1. Like
after being
big names,
a map down and behind 10-5, that's nuts. But hey, could be looking for more of the same from G2, at least the earlier rounds. Nice work from OC. He's going to be able to take down Hunter, and that will give them the bomb site. The rest of the players were heavy stacked onto the B side of the map for the early portion of this round. For now, they're just waiting for the retake to begin. The smoke is holding them back, and the CT side hoping it will fade. Only a single USP is going to be on the other side, so it's going to be down to OC to hit a lot of those ranged battles. And next to looking to sneak his way through. OC actually in the corner. Jax takes him down quickly, but trades back from Floppy and JT. And now just Floppy remaining. He's the man they've wanted in these clutch situations. He hits the shot to Jax, and Amanek, he's screwed here. He's trying to find an angle. He's trying to find something to defuse that bomb. It's going to have to be the defusal. He's just sticking it. He may actually have it. Oh my goodness, how? How has he lost that round? Floppy did everything right, but just sneaking through the smoke. Amanek wins it, and I genuinely don't know how.
Well, Nexo was the first one to go in towards the site, and he had the smoke. He ends up dying off. The smoke gets picked up by Amanek, and he realizes, and he realizes, well, I got to do something. Throws on the smoke, gets the defuse, pulls it off, and G2 just barely win that round, but the damage isn't done. The battle's not over just yet, as they have to go into this round with, what, 2 SGs and an AK that they're up against. And you got JT and Sonic with the Deagles. They do have 3 SMGs, an AUG, and an M4. They've already lost out on 1, now 2 of their weapons. And look at that, the aggression out of G2 again being punished.
Yeah, Hunter looking like he might need to pull off some sort of miracle here. Kenny is rotate. Kenny doesn't have armor? What's going on?
I don't know.
This is a weird situation. I don't know how this has happened. I don't know if that's a misbuy or a miscalculation of cash, but Kenny's now left with an AUG. Like, even if you thought you were coming up against Glocks, that's a terrible idea. So I can only put that down to being a mistake, which in a round like this, you really can't afford. Any grenades going into his position is going to be a problem. Nice work from Hunter to start things off. Kenny also gets another, and Hunter, he just goes huge. It's how did I don't even know. He gets that last kill as well. 4 kills for Hunter. Looking like a round that was going to slip away, the same as the last. But somehow G2 make it work.
I'm still perplexed. Why do you get the AUG?
I think that can only be a mistake. Like, anything else just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's like the second buy mistake we've seen now out of G2. You're looking back to Train, right? Where they overbought.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that one, actually, I didn't really think about that, but that could have been something that if they didn't do, they get a buy earlier, and who knows, maybe things are very different. We could be onto our second matchup, which, hey, it's going to be another exciting map. I didn't expect this series to go to 3. And I think that's fair, especially with the way that things were going. But hey, ATK have already proven me wrong once. They bought into this round once again. They've gone for a full investment, a fast play into the A side. Kenny is going to kick things off with the trades once again. However, they haven't been able to clear Jax from the pit. The bomb plant will actually give them potentially another buy into the next round. Jax needs to be cleared, really, if they're going to have much of a hold in this. And tries to spam through. Actually does a little bit of damage onto OC, and he's sort of acting as a bit of a distraction because Amanek's looking to come in on the flank. You can see OC having to watch way too many angles, and if Jax gets this timing right, that's the kill. And now JT, he has to try and fight this one out. Pops the first, but can't do anything else. And the CT side are going to win themselves another round. Again, it's a bomb plant. Again, it's close. I just wonder if there's going to be a point where we stop seeing the 4 spies. And if we do, I don't think this is it.
No, definitely. I mean, they have some decent money. They've been doing some decent damage in these rounds as well. G2 haven't even had a strong buy yet. They've had a couple of SGs or SMGs in that round. They had a lot of SMGs in the round prior. Here we go. I mean, they are lacking massively in utility, though, so this does worry me a bit, though, Tom. On the other side for G2, like, they can stall for a long time with the amount of utility they've been able to buy up. So what does ATK need to do? Bar, look for just an amazing kill. Amazing entry somewhere.
Well, banana control is going to be 4-4. Amanek takes quite a lot of damage off of grenades. Tees don't really seem interested, though. They were already heading towards this A site before Banana was lost. Clearly feel like there's something to be had. Sonic, he gets aggressed on by Jax, and well, this is going very badly wrong for G2. Trapped in the corner, there's no way Hunter gets out of this alive, and the grenades are a little bit too late. Kenny, he's only good for one, and with just 2 players remaining, there shouldn't be a chance here. And finally, ATK, I think they've deserved to get around on the board, and just look at the money, look at the damage that has been done to G2.
And that was with such limited utility. I think they had 2 players with like smokes and flashes, and that was about it. Just outright winning these aim duels, catching Hunter off at the wrong spot when he was in the cubby, watching the flank from, I think that was Almanet coming in from behind. And G2 now, I mean, Almanet only has 800 left. Kenny Estes have 3,200. They still have like an okay amount of money. And they've gone for a big stack over towards the A site at the same time, leaving Almanet to himself over towards B.
Nice nade at least, but there really isn't much else for G2 to play with in this round. It's interesting to see how much money there actually is left on Amanek and Hunter going forward. Maybe they're just going to invest into SMGs in the next round, but I'm quite surprised. Like, their money is poor, so the fact that they've actually bought anything is maybe a bit of a mistake, but I guess there's something behind it.
At least we hope.
This round at least, though. This is basically the best case for ATK. They took some risks. They kept getting the bomb down. They grinded out the rounds. Now with their second round about to be going onto the board, it's looking like it's going to be perfect. It's looking like it's going to be clean. And it seems like the T's themselves don't really want to hand anything over. So they'll get the 1900 loss bonus. Does give Kenny enough for a glass cannon if he really wants it, but I wonder if we are just going to have a situation of back-to-back saves.
Seems to look like it. Okay, so ATK looking to tie things up here in this round then, if they can have a relatively clean one. Some decent money too. JT on 5,800. Sonic on 53, Modem on 53. Getting this round with relative ease would also be, like a really good setting up for the long run of this match. And you were saying before, if I remember correctly, like G2, they went to something like 11-4 or something like that?
They were 11-1 up.
11-1 up?
Versus Sharks and almost let it slip. That was on the T side, though. They were playing the T side very strong, so... Or at least, no, never mind. No, it was the CT side. Sorry, that was when we were looking at Vertigo. Yeah, no, it was their CT side. They got off to a flying start. Jax was performing fantastically when it came to the A site. And it meant that they can go for a lot of heavy gambles onto Banana because of it.
Speaking about gambles on Banana, they're gone for the 4-man stack at the B site now. Good Molotov. Catches Nexa on the move for a little bit of time, and I think they've actually decided to change things up. Jax is going to have a lot of company coming his way towards the A site. G2, they have yet to rotate off to help out. And here they go now as ATK make their way in towards the site. Jax, can he get anything off this is going to be my question. Well, he gets one, but unfortunately that's going to be just about it. Bomb will go down, and now G2 ideally looking for kills, maybe save a weapon or two. There's almost no reason, I guess, to just go in for it.
Well, they could look to cause some damage, steal a weapon away. That's the best case. Modern will have heard the steps, so he should know that there's a man in the middle. And Kenny's going to go look to see if he can find any sort of weaponry, but that it was only dropped over onto the site and maybe just doesn't want to give away that extra $300. Namanek, however, will do just that. And Nexa, well, he has Kevlar, so should definitely just be opting to keep himself alive in this scenario. It is another round on the board for ATK and a relatively clean one of that. Just look at the money that's already been built up for them. 9,000 on the majority of players and the rest 6, 7 apiece. So we are going to see a tactical timeout. This is where we get the buy coming in. Kenny saved a lot of money for this round, and this is where G2 really need to step up because even though they've just lost that last map, they are definitely still big favorites. And them going out here, well, it would be a statement for ATK, a second one in 2 days, but more so, start to bring questions to G2. I was talking moments ago about, like, literally like 30 minutes ago, we were talking about how if G2 continued to play like this, they could challenge some of the best. They fought versus Astralis. They were playing so well, and then it just, like, they switched sides. They got onto the CT side of Train and just get manhandled. And I still just surprised that ATK were able to do that to them, but more so that G2 didn't have any response.
Let me just look at the top right-hand side of your screen. 16-4, 16-13 with a 10-5 first half. Like, that's not how I thought the series would end up turning out. I was going to assume we're going to have a quick little 2-0 here. But credit to ATK to really fight themselves out of that pit. Taking a little bit of damage off the bat with utility from G2. Looks like they're going to just pick up the pace and head straight towards the A site. No slow play here on Inferno. Hunter's going to smoke things off to help delay the push back in, but unfortunately he gets caught off. Gets headshotted down. Jax isn't really able to defend much more than that, but the utility damage is still done a ton. Nexa gets himself a double. Modem and OC on very low HP, and Kenny, as he's as the op, he's looking to come around. Even Almanac flanking in from B site. Still a possibility here for G2 to take this one, but it comes down to ATK if they can hit their initial shots.
Kenny trying to clear the close sight. Modem is in the pit. Ready and waiting for anybody to peek in. They've still got half the time on the clock, but they do need to get a move on. They don't have a kit, so this is too slow. And Modem just takes off Kenny's head. Amanek, I don't even really know why he's fighting this. Sure, you could do some damage, but you can't win the round. The round is done. And now he just has to try and retreat back. I wonder if he's going to run around and try and get the AWP. Nope. So even still, like, this is a good run for ATK. They're continuing to grind them forward. Money, not really an issue for them as long as they continue to win rounds. And they're now into the lead.
I could swear I just heard about him screaming all the way from Denmark here to Poland. If you guys watched any of the group stage. That shot into Kenny just gave him the round. And gave him the lead. 4-3 now for ATK. And look at G2, and well, they bought up some pistols. But it's looking like ATK might be able to pull off a 5th round here. He's going to come through, not really going to catch anyone to G2, but it's allowed them to get the initial control. Consider comes in as well, and really good utility usage out of ATK to get that full control banana, but they've not really been able to capitalize off of it just yet. And the dudes slowly make their way forward. There's still going to be 3 players to defend out of G2, though. One thing I will say, though, for ATK, they've been not necessarily using the entire time in a round, which I kind of like, because now they can slow play if they want to and catch G2 off a little bit off guard. Might be keeping G2 on the back foot.
That smoke is interesting. They're going to throw it onto the site just to give them the attempt to peek into CT, but it's more just an elaborate ruse. Now the remaining smokes are going to go down, but it's just a fake. They're going to try and make their way back. Amanek with the rifle is waiting there, so it means there's only going to be pistols on the A site. 45 seconds left for ATK to play with, so not really any worries there. The only real worry is the fact that they don't actually have that much utility left, so there is a possibility for a couple of hero plays to be thrown out, but they're still trying to be methodical, clearing all of these remaining angles. And now with just 1 smoke left, they're going to go pushing into the site, but they have all the angles available to them. I don't really see too much going the way of G2, and they'll clean things up very nicely indeed. And that'll be another round for ATK.
That's 5 straight for them. The Lost Post is going to be there for G2. I think Almanac should be just saving the M4. Maybe Nexa with the Kevlar. Maybe look for an exit frag as they do retreat away from the site. And where's this ATK been? I mean, again, this is a team who wasn't even supposed to be playing the Pro League. They were an MDL. They got brought up because there was a couple of teams in the group who unfortunately couldn't fill the roster. They found out a couple days before that before they actually played that they were going. They didn't fare too well in the group in the first stage, but they made it through to the second stage and then eventually made it through here, and they've been able to beat North 2-0. They're able to give Mouse a run for their money. And now they're almost on the verge of beating G2. I'd say that's quite a good way to end the year for them.
Well, yeah, I think more impressively they might be able to beat G2 after getting banged in the first map and the first half of the second map. So that just to have that mental fortitude to get the momentum into your favor and then just stick with it, that's the most impressive thing in my mind for such a young and inexperienced team to be able to do so much. No matter what happens now in this map, of course, it would be the icing on the cake if they can make their way through to the matchup that gives them a chance to get into the playoffs. Of course, it's not going to get easier from there. Likelihood is it'll be someone like Esports in there.
Yeah, they would play the winner of Esports or Renegades if they can win this one. No, Jax gets gooshed up again. You can just see like this lack of money on the side of G2 has really been affecting them. Like Jax can't afford the head armor. Obviously not a big deal when it comes to this round, but I remember a couple of rounds prior, someone at ATK just swung wide around and he was able to goosh him up right away. So position on next. Counter flash comes in out of Modem though, opens things up. They get the 2 kills on the B site, and they should have control of this if they get the bomb up here.
That flashbang was so well timed. Smoke is not the best, but they're going to be able to get past Kenny's crosshair, and with the second and third smoke going down, it's going to end the round. Another in a row, 6 in a row now for ATK. They're keeping their form from the T side of Train. And as mentioned, like, it was a really good CT side coming out from G2 when they played against Sharks, but their T side almost let the map slip. So too many more rounds on the board, and I'm actually starting to almost favor ATK, which is not something I thought I'd say throughout the map.
And Tom, one thing they've been doing really well is they're not losing too many players in these rounds when they win them too. So the economy's really built up. They got a couple players on 12K. They're able to really stabilize here if they do start to lose some rounds. And G2, what can they possibly do? They're obviously able to buy up in every round, but they're not able to win the rounds. And what is going to change for them? What do they need to do differently here to finally get their 4th?
Well, it definitely seems like ATK have their eye on the prize. Fully focused. G2, wow, already taking their second pause. No surprises, really. Nothing they've been doing has been working. Individually, we've even seen a fall-off. Kenny, he performed very well in the match we saw yesterday. Jackson Hunter as well on the crossfire on the A side was actually almost impossible for Sharks to break down. And, well, in all honesty, it's been fairly easy for ATK. The synergy of this roster actually seems to be really damn impressive. And one thing that, so you mentioned obviously they didn't know they were playing, they had to like build in. One thing we didn't even really mention is that first like match of Pro League, I'm pretty sure was the first match they played with Sonic since he came back from Envy. It was at least very, maybe they played a qualifier or something just beforehand, but he'd only just come back into the team.
Well, one thing we can say about this team is they've massively improved over their time within the Pro League. I'm really excited to see where they do go next year. I know I said this a couple of times, but you know, this team has a lot of potential. And I hope to see Modem continue his trash talking, you know, next season. It was definitely better than Stewie's. Then again, it's not hard to be better than Stewie's trash talking. Then again, he's the first, North American player to be a millionaire on Counter-Strike, so.
Yeah, I think that's trash talking up.
Yeah, exactly. That's all the trash talking needs to do.
Just holds out his phone with his bank account. There we go, Jax again. As I said, he was so good yesterday. He's been overwhelmed once more. This is a 4-man stack. Kenny with a nice flick, but it's not enough to stick the round. And it's going to be a 7th onto the board for ATK in a row.
So they even stack the A site with 4 players and they still lose, and they only take down 2.
Yes.
What? I don't know what needs to change for them. What is going on their CT side so far? 7 rounds straight, like you mentioned, for ATK. They're on the cusp of taking a first half victory here. They've got so much money to spend. Approaching the likes of Stewie's bank account, at least for Modem. Sorry, still missing 2 zeros.
Yeah, I was about to say. If that's Stewie's bank account, then he has made some interesting investments.
Yeah, G2, I mean, just to reiterate, 16-4 on Vertigo. And the rounds they won on T side, it wasn't like they were using any crazy strategy. They were just walking in and killing people.
I'm trying to think the actual scoreline that they managed to come back from. Was it 12-5 or 11-5 on? Because it was definitely the pistol round. Definitely went the way of G2 in the first map, or the second map. Sorry. So that was what At least 11-5. I think they even may have won the follow-up round. If not, but either way, it was 11-5 that came back to 12-12, or 12-5 that came back to 12-12. So either way, that was a ridiculous comeback from ATK in the second map. So this could have easily been done. Then we had those few weird like force buys that came out from G2 where they messed up their economy, but that's no excuse. They should have still been able to close out Train. And now they've lost 7 rounds in a row to ATK on their CT side of this map. As said, when we saw them prior, the CT side was much stronger for them versus Sharks. They're going to have a decent T side here. As a minimum, they're going to need 8 rounds.
I mean, the upside is their T sides today have looked amazing. Vertigo, 11-4.
I don't think they did anything that impressive.
Strategy-wise, no.
They were just fragging very well, which at the moment, they're not. Like, they've had the momentum with them all the way up until we saw the comeback on Train.
Oh, look at this confidence, though, on a modem. Just solo pushing in towards B. No smoke, nothing. Omnic didn't see him on the cross, and you see him catching out Nexa. He's actually going to be able to potentially push in towards CT spawn, which means Kenyas is going to have to pay attention to this. Modem going to get the kill onto him as well, and just one-man wrecking crew. Luckily for G2, though, Hunter picks himself up a double, but still turns it into a 2-on-1 in favor of the T side of ATK, and they're about to get 8 rounds straight unless Omnic can do something about it.
Oh, he's left into a 1v2 situation. His teammates have fallen behind, and they have not been able to pull off any of these retakes so far. The Ts have been phenomenal. Every single player with over $10,000 in their bank account at the moment, waiting patiently for the peak to come in. I don't know if they would have spotted him on the jump. Even still, though, there's not that much time. Unless Amanek's planning on going for a ninja defuse, but this is not the map or the site to do that on. They're probably just going to go falling into the site. So, yeah, I don't really know what the plan was there. Unless he just wanted to try and kill them after the round was done. But it was never really going to happen. So, 8-3. I want to reiterate, this is 8 rounds in a row for ATK. In probably the biggest tournament of their lives. Versus G2. And they might be about to send them home. If nothing changes, they will.
I feel like they've taken 19 out of the last 24 rounds. If we think back to a Train second half.
Maths on air, Jason. It's just not worth the risk. I don't know.
Very difficult, but it's around that number, if not exactly that. I don't know. I kind of counted in my head a little bit. Which just shows like ATK like are really turning it up when they need to. G2, the buy they have again is not really even a buy. I hesitate to even call it that. See Hunter with the ump. Might catch up Sonic. But Sonic just hits the headshot. Maybe a second on a Kenny. Yes, and look at this. Sonic is just... He's just tired. Tired of this matchup. He wants to put G2 in the grave. He wants to put him back home to France. Or to respective countries. I don't know where they're currently all living together. Jax and Nexa do get 1 apiece. They need much more than that, and Floppy and OC aren't done.
Yeah, Manek once again is going to be late in with a rifle. There's 3 players left to find. This stops becoming even an issue of damage. He's only got to go for this if he thinks he's going to win the round, because their money is off the scale. G2 will know this. And it's looking like he is just going to fall out of the round. But yeah, something else worth mentioning. Do you remember Season 9 Grand Finals? Do you remember who was there?
Nope. Wasn't it G2?
There you go. that was the
I don't remember who they beat.
They didn't.
I don't remember who they played then.
Liquid.
That was going to be my guess, honestly.
So, obviously that was the old iteration of the roster, but this would not be a good result for G2 whatsoever. They had to grind their way through last time as well, remember? That was me and you casting that a lot on the B stream. And they did manage to make their way all the way to the grand final in France, of course, in Montpellier. But this is not looking the same. Like, whatever happened to the team of the first and the first half of the second map are gone. And it's only... Oh, some underperforming players left in their place. ATK playing lights out, it has to be said. They are up there at the moment. The double nade, not quite going to reach Kenny. They do have a buy back onto the board. It needs to be the last few rounds grounded out for G2, giving them a chance to go into that second half. Any more than this, and you have to feel like ATK are going to be able to take it over the line.
To be fair, we did say that about G2 after getting 10 rounds on T-side of train.
That is true.
Well, they've been able to slow things down, bait out a lot of the utility out of Kenny and Almanac. Only 2 flashbangs remain if they do want to turn around and head back in this direction. Or maybe they have to send Nex over there with his smoke. So well done, actually, for ATK. Because of the pressure they've been able to apply of, playing a little bit quicker pace, they've been able to bait out so much utility that now they slow things down, they're going to have such a clear advantage attacking later on.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit better from G2. Finally gaining some confidence, flashbanging Amanek into position. Modem, he's been so good at just being sneaky, being annoying. Getting into positions that they may not necessarily expect. Good flashbang out once again. The utility usage in this round has been better from G2. Jax in the pit. He's going to get cleared, and now it's left all onto Hunter. In a matter of seconds, every member of the A-site defense falls without response. You can see that G2 have already made a fast rotation. But I think they're left in a position again where they don't really have a choice. They've just got to hold on to their guns. And what's happened against Sharks in the first day, this CT side, A-site defense from G2 was phenomenal. Jax was hitting everything. He had Hunter to support. Kenny even was playing there a lot of the time and doing Kenny things on that A-site with the AWP. This game, I can't name a player on their side that I think has performed to a standard that G2 will be happy with.
Oh man, they really want this off. They're gonna get it too. Right out of the hands of Kenny. 10-3. All right, so this is where things get interesting, right? What if G2 somehow take these next 2 rounds with not really a buy up here? Then a 10-5, right?
Of course it's still, I don't even know what to expect anymore. It is definitely possible to get T rounds on the side of Inferno. It's not as bad as it used to be, but if the utility is built up at any point by ATK, I think that's going to make things a whole lot tougher. The thing is, I just don't even see any life in G2 anymore. That team has disappeared. Like, there's not been, like, even those hero rounds we were getting before where, like, oh, there's a couple of deeks coming in from someone, or, like, Kenny's hitting shots with the AWP, or Jax is hitting headshots. Like, there's been nothing.
Well, I think it back to Vertigo, where we had, Jax just walking into the A side on T side getting kills. You had on Sainty side, was it Hunter and Almanac watching the rotations, catching people out. Finally, they rotate some things and put Kenny over towards the A side where he's able to get an initial kill. Hunter pushes out and catches out JT. And with the offer buy they did have, they're starting to look pretty decent here, but Sonic able to get one back for ATK. The other 2 players going to be towards the B site, which Kenny is going to rotate back towards.
Yeah, the thing is, all the utility is currently on that A side of the map. Hunter, ooh, it's going to come down to timing. Now knows that he's there. A bit of a pre-fire through the smoke. Kenny, nice shot onto the cross, and finally, after a long hiatus, we're going to have a round on the board for G2. It took them a ridiculous amount of time to get back into this one. And well, it seems like Amanek might be taking that out on the plant pots.
I mean, you're completely right when you say no one's been hitting like the standard set by G2 on the earlier maps. Everyone, they're generally around the same kind of score, but you have Amanek barely positive by 1 kill, and that's it for G2. On the other side, though, you have Floppy continuing from earlier on. You have 3 players in double digits, 2 just about to cross that line.
Well, let's put it this way. Up until that round, they lost 10 in a row. I don't think there's any argument of whether or not for G2 that will be acceptable. Especially when you're on the CT side of Inferno. Like, you should at least be able to steal one away. Like, maybe there comes a problem with economy and then it goes this way. No, it's literally just been buy after buy after buy. They've lost every single one to ATK. And we'll see, can they finally rectify this defense? Is it going to take the last round for an A-site hold to come in? Because there have been basically none. There we go. Much better from G2. It's too little, too late. They win every single battle. I don't know how that's how the half ends. We're back to a 10-5 once again. Now, ATK, they managed it in the last map. Can G2 do it this time? We'll be back after the break.
Well, honestly, Tom Biz, a feat I thought that was going to be impossible in this series with how map 1 and the first half of map 2 kicked off. ATK in the lead, 10-5 here from the T side of Inferno in our third and final map here of our first match. G2 have to pull back a miracle. They have to hit that stride of their prior form to be able to get back in this series, and they're picking up the pace. They're charging straight in towards A.
They've pushed into a stack, though. This is a gamble play coming out from the CT side, but somehow Jax gets 3. There's a decent setup. In fact, he just got a quad kill in the pistol round. That came out of absolutely nowhere, but yeah, I like the setup from the CT side. They actually read things very well. They have the positioning, they have the crossfire, and I don't really know how G2 actually managed to get out of that alive, but they have, and this is the worry. Like, I do think that there's still possibilities for G2 to turn this around. A pistol round like that is definitely going to boost their confidence, which is not what you want to see. The CT side are going to invest into this one. They've got a decent amount of utility. The scout, even with Kevlar on floppy, and okay, OC's the one who's actually taking the hit because of that. And
what, just get knifed?
Taking the hit, I think that was the scout.
Okay. I got some hit twice. Either way, he's down to 30 health now. A decent start for ATK. They're 3-man stack towards Banana. I did tell you in the break, it's going to go back. It's easily going to go back 10-10. Like, that's just like destined to happen between the two teams now with how the series is going. Got the pistols brought up for ATK. They still have a decent amount of utility left, to be fair. They still have 4 smokes. And we still have 2 of them over at the B site.
Well, G2 just going to be slowing down the round. They've expected a bit of aggression out from the CT side, but after initially going for those peaks, hitting some shots, it's far more passive from ATK, and they do actually have the utility to hold it up. Modem and JT with some utility, and JT He's going to throw down another smoke on the 40-second mark on the B site. And you can see a few fake nades being expended by G2 as we now have that play in towards A. 3 players already hit. Nice shot from Floppy. Looking to try and bounce back as soon as possible. 25 seconds as the bomb's actually going to have to wrap past him. So if he can drop it, there's a possibility here. And he does actually get one. That's the bomb down. Now they have to go and fight Nexa. He's going to get a kill, but it's not going to be enough. Floppy just destroys them with the scout. 4 kills off the back of the scout, and ATK put themselves back in the driver's seat.
How does that happen?
10-10.
I mean, it's still... Hey, hey.
No, it can't.
You want to test fate right now?
It can't be 10-10.
No, but it could be 11-11, all right? I don't know what to expect from this game, to be honest. Floppy getting a 4K to save the round for ATK, like, that was ridiculous. And out of library as well. And G2, they finally get some momentum off the back of the pistol round. And then they lose it all completely.
Did you say and G2 or MG2? Because it sounded like MG2.
I mean, they were kind of playing like MG2s, to be honest, but I want to see G2 push ATK a little bit further. It's nice to see ATK be able to rise like this, and obviously the match after this that they'd have to play would be definitely difficult.
Well, yeah, there's so many impressive things about ATK. The fact that, as we've sort of mentioned, they have made their way through without like necessarily being invited. They struggled versus some teams like, for example, Singularity, and now they've come here and, wow, they've definitely shown themselves to be a better team than maybe expected.
They could potentially get the rematch if they win here up against Mouse Sports, where they lost earlier on 16-9.
And they got to a very good start in that match as well. JT is going to be punished for his aggression, though. Sonic. Ooh, okay. This is starting to get interesting. Nexus managed to retrieve an AK, and after killing off 2 players on the B site, we're going to have to see a fast rotation from Floppy. I think he's been the standout, maybe even in the series. He was so good in the last map there. It kind of changes things, but that rotation bait has actually helped them out. Modem, he needs to try and hold this down. If they get the bomb down, I think it could be trouble. Somebody's going to drop it, and drop it on the balcony as well. That's not an easy position to retrieve. The rotations coming from OC, and Modem's won them the round. That is it. There's no way Jax brings this back. He's just going to lurk within the smoke, hear the footsteps, and pray he can find someone. That's a nice shot at least, but I don't even think he has time to retrieve the bomb and get it down. And OC, very well placed, takes a couple of shots, but he'll be there to get them their 12th.
So 12-12, like I said. No, ATK playing phenomenal, honestly. I can't really knock them much at all. I mean, you kind of have to hope to ride off Vertigo, or maybe they need to look ahead in the future and be like, all right, that's a map we should start banning, because they did not look good at all in that.
They chose it.
And yeah, but it wasn't even like strategy, like we said before, that like won the map for G2. It was just pure raw aim and pure confidence. And that confidence has completely disappeared on the side of G2. I mean, Nexa had a couple of kills in that round with a nice 2 Deegs. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to overpower Modem, sitting in pit. Now they have only Glocks. We're looking at ATK getting onto 13 here. And being 3 rounds away from advancing further than G2. I mean, that's like quite a name taken out to their CV. We beat North 2-0. We beat G2 2-1 after being down so drastically. They're starting to really build up a name for themselves coming into Season 11. And still, obviously, into the rest of this whole tournament.
On the other side of things as well, it's currently 1-1 in maps for Renegades and Mouse Sports, and Renegades are 4-1 up on Inferno, so you never know. We could have a match between ATK and Renegades to see who actually gets through to the playoffs.
Wow.
Which, either side, that would be such a big win if they can take it. Nonetheless, still a long way to go. These last 4 rounds, they're not going to be handed on a plate. G2 are not going to want to go out at this stage of the tournament. Peek in from Floppy. Gets the information at least and does take one down with him. Of course, this is just a Glock round, so you can't really expect too much from G2. ATK should take this one fairly easily and grab their 13th Modem from the pit again. He's been holding down that position. And a 13th now onto the board for ATK.
Just look at that. Floppy, 17-7. I think he definitely is building up to be the MVP of this series. He was their saving grace on Train. He's doing it yet again here on Inferno. Even in Modem, like, I gotta give him credit. We talked about him before against North. He was the top fragger, 47-28. You had Sonic at 47 and 27 right behind him. Technically ahead of him, I guess. So he's really stepped up, considering what we saw just a month or two ago in the actual group stage, especially in the first group stage. Now G2 back on the buy. Utility gonna be hurrying a little bit. We can see ATK looking to potentially contest a little bit further into Banana, though JT only has the SMG. They had enough money to buy him, so I'm not sure why they didn't drop him. Here we go, GT looking to potentially push in towards Banana. The bomb actually makes its way towards middle, though, so trying to bait out this utility into the 3-man stack they have. Oh my, how does that happen? How do they just walk out? There was no flashbang, they just pushed and got 2 kills without even taking really much damage at all. I guess it's go time, though, for the rest of G2 over towards A. And OC's already waiting.
He's heard the rotation. Flashbangs go over, but Floppy now falls. They could opt to switch things back and try and wrap around, but they're going to continue their way into this A site. OC within, and they get another entry. It's only left to Modem. He has been phenomenal over the last few rounds, holding in the pit. Just opting to stay alive, and he peeks out the right time. He even buys a moment for JT to peek back in, and Jax, he's got so many players to target that the round's going to end, and it's Modem to be the hero once again. 2 kills to his name, and 14 on the board for ATK now. G2 are just 2 rounds from being eliminated and joining North.
Bomb has been defused.
They've won 14 out of the last 15 rounds. Is that correct? No? Around there?
No, I think they were, it was
14 out of the last
3-0,
16?
and then they won 10 in a row.
Okay. So 14 out of the last 16.
I don't know.
Let's just go. Let's just say yes. Let's just say yes. For the sake of the argument here, just really a landslide performance out of ATK. They got Modem now on 17 kills. Everyone over double digits. They have full kit of utility. OC even feeling confident trying to go for the pick in towards middle. They're winning a lot of these battles they really shouldn't be. Like, again, just looking back to last round, they pushed out B. Next is going to be dropped by Sonic. Sonic gets himself a double on Amadek. He just doesn't care. He's just pushing up for kill after kill. In ATK, they might just have enough here to finish the series.
Oh, at this point, I think they should. This is just dominant. G2, well, they're the ones looking like the underdog at this point in the match. I don't know where the G2 from the first match has gone, but either way, a monster in the form of ATK has risen in its place. Sure, G2 definitely don't seem like they're performing anywhere near as well, but you've got to give credit over to ATK. They have taken these battles. They have beaten their opposition. It's not just like G2 are letting them into this match. They've been taking it. Especially if you look over the last few rounds, especially, they've been grinding Banana. They've been winning the duels versus top-tier players. And they now, well, after having the mental fortitude to fight back like they did on Train on the T side after being 10-5 down, to go into this map and absolutely dominate, it looks like the series has just flipped.
I've never, I think, in my career of commentating, have wanted to see player shots more than I do right now, to see how hyped up ATK is getting round after round. I see Modem, he stops moving after the round's done because I guarantee he's shouting, he's fist bumping his teammates. They're about to do it. They're about to move further on to the tournament to add G2 to their hit list. But North is currently the other team on. And potentially to have the revenge for Mouse Sports, or maybe Renegades, depending on how that series goes. It's into now potentially the final round here. JT, look how aggressive he's getting. Pushing down to the bottom. Banana, G2 have no room to move. They have no real weapons to use either. Hunter's down to 10 HP. It looks like they're going to try to push in towards his A side here, Tom.
The previous Pro League finalists with one last attempt to even make it close to the playoffs. Missed shot from OC might give them that little bit of extra space they need, but it's not going to happen again. He hits that second shot. Amanek manages one, but it's a slaughter. And there it is. ATK have eliminated G2 after being so far behind. They got dominated on the first map. They lost the first half of the second map in a dominant fashion as well. It was looking like this was going to be G2 series to win, but they fought back. They grinded.